The village of Nurabad lay nestled between rolling green hills, where the call to prayer echoed through narrow, lantern-lit streets. The scent of freshly baked bread mixed with the cool night air as homes prepared for suhoor. It was a place where time seemed slower, where faith was woven into the rhythm of everyday life. Yet, in one of these humble homes, a boy lay awake, staring at the ceiling of his small room. Hamza had everything anyone could ask for: a loving mother and father, a secure livelihood, and the honor of being part of a devout community. And yet, something felt incomplete.
Ramadan, a month of mercy, of guidance, of transformation. But have we ever truly stepped into its presence?
He turned onto his side, sighing deeply. From down the hall, he could hear the quiet murmur of his mother and father's voices as they prepared for suhoor. The soft clinking of dishes mixed with their low conversation.
Why do I feel so disconnected? It's Ramadan. I'm fasting, praying, following the routine. But why does it feel empty?
Unable to silence the gnawing feeling in his chest, he slipped out of bed and walked to the window. The moon hung low, casting a silver glow across the rooftops. He caught his own reflection in the glass, tired eyes, a furrowed brow, a soul weighed down by something unseen.
For some, Ramadan is a celebration. For others, it is a mirror, revealing what they've long ignored.
The next morning after Fajr prayer, Hamza wandered through the village, his mind restless. He found himself at the edge of the old bazaar where the scent of spices and the hum of merchants filled the air. A familiar stall caught his eye, a small shop selling handmade prayer beads. It was his grandfather's favorite place. As he picked up a string of beads, a flood of memories washed over him.
Ramadan is not just about leaving food. It is about leaving yourself, to find yourself.
Hamza had nodded back then, not fully grasping the depth of the words. Now, decades later, their meaning still eluded him.
Leaving myself. What does that even mean?
Later that evening, after Isha prayer, Hamza found himself sitting alone in the mosque. Most of the congregation had left, yet he remained staring at the ornate patterns on the carpet, lost in thought. A soft yet commanding voice pulled him from his thoughts.
You seem troubled, son.
Hamza looked up to see an old man dressed in simple attire, his piercing eyes radiating a quiet strength.
I don't feel what others feel. This month is supposed to bring peace, right? But I just feel lost.
Because you are standing at the door, but you haven't stepped in.
I don't understand.
Tell me, when was the last time you let silence take over? When was the last time you truly existed in the presence of Allah?
Hamza looked down, his fingers tightening into a fist. He had no answer. The old man simply smiled.
Come, let me show you something.
The air around him shifted. Hamza blinked, and suddenly he was no longer in the mosque. He stood in the middle of a vast, endless desert. Silence pressed against his ears. There were no distractions, no voices, no schedules. For the first time, he was truly alone.
The world fades away, and for the first time, Hamza stands alone. Not in his home, not in the mosque, but in the reality of his own existence.
He turned in slow circles, the sand stretching into eternity. The burdens of his business, his family, his daily responsibilities, gone.
I feel different, lighter.
A voice echoed from nowhere and everywhere at once.
You were never made for this world, but you let it own you.
Before him, a vision of himself appeared, rushing, running in endless circles. Work, stress, expectations, the weight of 1,000 unfulfilled ambitions. His reflection shimmered and then dissolved into dust.
Ramadan lifts the veil. It silences the noise. It allows you to finally see.
Hamza dropped to his knees, his hands trembling. Tears welled in his eyes.
I've been fasting, but I never truly let go.
The desert faded. The mosque reappeared. The old man was watching him with a knowing smile.
Then start now. Walk into Ramadan with nothing but yourself and watch how Allah fills you with everything.
Hamza's breath came in ragged gasps. He bowed his head and the burden lifted. Hamza woke the next morning with a renewed sense of calm. Suhoor was quiet but peaceful. His mother and father sat at the table, the soft clinking of dishes the only sound in the room. His father looked up as Hamza sat down.
You seem at peace today.
For the first time in my life, I am at peace.
Ramadan is not about leaving food. It is about leaving yourself so you can finally find Allah.
Later that week, Hamza stood outside his shop, watching as a poor man walked by, barefoot and trembling. The man's clothes were torn and his face was lined with exhaustion. Hamza's first instinct was to look away, but he stopped himself. He walked toward the man.
Brother, have you eaten today?
The man shook his head. Hamza smiled and guided him toward the shop. He prepared a warm meal and handed it to him. The man's eyes filled with tears.
Ramadan is not about leaving hunger. It is about filling hearts.
Hamza sat beside the man as he ate. A peace settled in his chest, a feeling he had chased for years, and finally he had found it. On the 27th night of Ramadan, Hamza sat in the mosque, the golden glow of lanterns flickering across the walls. His heart was steady, his mind clear. The Imam recited the verses of Surah Kaf.
وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ.
Indeed, it is we who created humankind and fully know what their souls whisper to them, and we are closer to them than their jugular vein. Hamza bowed his head. He felt the presence of Allah close and infinite.
The gates of mercy open wide, and in the stillness of the night, the heart finally knows peace.
Tears slid down Hamza's cheeks as he whispered,
Ya Allah, I'm home.